Welcome back to the return of Jeremy, Bowl Cut Kid, and Shiloh being Shiloh. Oh boy! Oh, my headphones disconnecting constantly. I need to get new headphones, unfortunately. And they weren't cheap, which is annoying. USB devices are terrible, man. Might be my USB port, too. I'll have to check it. But anyway, how are you all doing today? Are you excited to learn about Shiloh's friend and group mate, Jeremy? I don't remember his last name, kid. Yeah, we're excited, aren't we? Oh, boy. Yeah. His reply was palpably disinterested. Cove on the top behavior had... Over-the-top behavior had yet to pull any emotion from Jeremy other than mild annoyance. Yeah. Marina doesn't remember him. And this is Lizzie forcing Shiloh to call Jeremy, who's his group mate in XOXO Droplets. I have a funny idea for these videos. How did you know his name was Jeremy? You didn't tell them? No, I only called you somebody from my group at school. Jeremy regarded Cove cautiously, for the first time giving the situation a lull of his focus. Cove bristled, sucking in a long, deep, dramatic breath. I almost think this is a good screenshot already, but we might probably have better stuff.
Oh my god.
Wait.
Oh my god.
I love the oh my god. Actually, that's a better screenshot. And all at once he started shouting out, not just with his voice. He waved his arms around, gesturing wildly with his hands, and repeatedly yelled, "Oh my god!" with all sorts of inflections. This is the best mental image ever. I love Cove so much. Oh my god! Oh my god! At these antics, Jeremy gave a short huff of sigh through his teeth and sounded tinny over the phone speakers. I actually have been looking forward to this meeting, though, this reunion, though, because I want to see what his reaction is knowing that Marina punched him in the face once. What is this, Shiloh? Are you trying to make me suffer? Are you still mad about what happened at the amusement park? I was on your side, you know! Actually, he probably doesn't have that much emotion in his voice. What is this, Shiloh? Are you trying to make me suffer? Are you still mad about what happened at the amusement park? I was on your side, you know. Liz, who had been entirely lost this whole time, finally spoke up.
Huh?
What happened at the amusement park? But no one paid that question any mind. I don't know what's going on. Have you met each other before? Nope. It was an immediate reply from Jeremy, but then those stinging eyes squinted. Wait. His eyes, his already wide frown suddenly found a way to grow deeper in realization.
Oh, it's you people. Again.
Oh, I love that. I do like Jeremy as an adult. Or a teenager. I do like teenage Jeremy a lot. Like, I appreciate him. The screen instantly went blank. Shiloh gasped, looking for his phone to the rest of the group. He hung up. Jeremy doesn't just hang up on people like that. What happened? Don't look at me. I've never met that kid before. You could feel Cove's stare poking and prodding at the side of your head. You cut his expression wide-eyed and tense. He must have an answer to that question, but he wasn't saying anything. You were at a loss. Marina still doesn't remember. I love it. I don't know. She still doesn't remember. Because she didn't care. She cared so little about this guy that she just shut it off. Pressing your mouth into a hard line, you bore your gaze away from Cove. There was a flicker of confusion on Shiloh's face, but it quickly changed to concern. He started pressing buttons on his phone. I gotta call him back. Don't do that. Why do you care? You didn't say anything. You didn't say anything. She's not going... Yeah. This whole situation was already far beyond what you could have predicted for today. It was awkward, but you waited for Shiloh to finish redialing the number. The phone rang for a long time. What if you could tell him no if he wouldn't do it and we would just end it there? The phone rang for a long time, long enough that you were surprised when Jeremy actually picked up again. He answered an even longer sigh.
What?
Shiloh held the phone close to his face, looking down at the screen with large apologetic eyes. Are you okay? It'd be better if you hadn't called back.
Aww.
I'd be better if you hadn't called back. Aw, Jeremy, can we talk it over? I don't want any of us fighting.
Do I have to?
Yeah, I think so. Why'd you hang up? Because that person hit me in the face when I was 3, when I was there. Aha! He does remember and he hates us! Yes! We don't like you either, dickbag! Wow. So that stuck with him his whole life. The fact that we punched him in the face. Jeremy's pointed look was leveled directly at you, and more eyes came your way upon that revelation. So that's really interesting to me. This is like watching my friend play Telltale games, and it's like Jeremy will remember that when you like punch him in the face. That's kind of cool. I like that. I almost wish I could go back and edit my previous video and put that in there at the top. Jeremy will remember that. I'm not that savvy with editing, though, that I wouldn't do that. But there's a fly crawling all over my monitor, and it's really making me mad, but I don't have the heart to kill it or the means. I was going to say more about this. It's just really, I'm really fascinated to see how this interaction goes. I've been looking forward to this in this moment, if nothing else. I don't want to see him again. I never wanted to see Shiloh again, if I'm honest, but this is interesting to me. The fact that he just hangs up, and he hates you that much, and she feels the same way. Don't worry, dude. Marina? Really?
What?
You definitely have to stay now, Jeremy. We need to resolve this. Come on, say something to him. Shiloh held his phone out towards you and Cove once more. Next to you, Cove glared defensively and silently. You also refused to speak. Hi there. This is a bad idea. I'm glad you remembered me. Sorry for hitting you. Okay, what's up? This is a bad idea. Words came out quietly. Jeremy continued to stare at you stone-faced. Finally, Jeremy's shoulders dipped slightly. He made the most exaggerated sigh you'd ever heard, since the previous one at least.
Sorry.
I don't remember what exactly I did or what I said to you, but sorry. What? Jeremy sighed yet again. You were sensing a pattern. His gaze rolled over to Cove. I do know what I was like as a kid. Well, okay, but who is that apology for? It better be for me and Marina. He spoke sternly, though there was no hiding the shakiness present. That didn't matter. Cove coming to your defense by confronting Jeremy brought a warm smile to your face. Jeremy, on the other hand, continued to be unimpressed. The corner of his lip twitched. I didn't need to know what the teenage guy equivalent of a smooshy squeak is, but now I do. Thanks for that. A small, offended noise escapes Cove. Unfortunately, it was so squeaky sunny, his face immediately burned red with embarrassment. I love that Cove is Cove, regardless of what type of Cove you get. He's still like this marshmallow, regardless of whether he's like Dude Bro Cove or like Studious Cove. He's just always this like just marshmallow of a person. Like Cove is like, so I have a whole issue with males, and like the way guys typically behave in most situations. Cove is not that most of the time. He does do mannish things, dudeish things all the time sometimes, but most of the time he's actually, because he's a romance game protagonist and he's supposed to be attractive to ladies. I get it. But, you know, they actually, I appreciate the writing for Cove a lot of the times. Hey, that's my squeak toy you're talking about. No, she wouldn't say that. She's not into him. You laughed. With a perfect description, Cove is exactly that. That's it. You better not step foot in this town again. She wouldn't hate him that much. Would she say anything? Would she care? Would she want? You didn't say anything. I don't know. I guess this is more coming to Cove's defense. I guess the hay, maybe. Taking a small step forward, your hands instinctively curled into fists. You couldn't believe it for the first chance he got. Jeremy insulted Cove again. Yeah, she would be more mad on Cove. This seems like the right Marina response. Glancing at Cove, just silently asked, "Can you believe this?" You noticed a tiny smile on his face at your offense on his behalf. You're offensive on his behalf. Jeremy didn't react at all. He continued watching the four people on the other end of this unwanted call, lackadaisically.
Whatever.
This apology is for whoever. Anyone who had to deal with me back then wasn't having a good time. Marina just had the spine not to take it, and that's whatever. Yeah, I like that line. Holy crap. Amazed, Cove took a few processing moments before he could respond. He blinked and rubbed the back of his neck. Oh, hey, it's not awkward anymore, guys. We got the happy music. Oh, thanks. I mean, it's no problem. You didn't have the spine not to take it. You just looked away. I still got my eyes on you. I accept your apology. Honesty is incredible. Okay then. Okay then. This was too weird for you. Silently you wonder what the statistical odds were for you, Cove, Shiloh, and Jeremy meeting again like this. Whatever. Following Cove's eye, you watch the dart from Shiloh to Jeremy, openly wondering what happened to Jeremy over these past few years. No? Not really. So you're nice now?
Nope.
Good. I don't throw tantrums or pick fights anymore, but I'm not nice. I am not nice! Yeah! You get that reference. Jeremy shook his head in disbelief. That squeak toy comment wasn't a compliment, you know. I don't have the energy to get angrily worked up like I used to as a kid. It's all pointless anyway. Now I'm just miserable. Depression is a hell of a drug, ladies and gentlemen. His tone was even grumblier than usual, and dragged the syllables out in the last word for extra emphasis. Oh. An awkward laugh escaped Shiloh, and his mouth pulled into a demure smile. Oh, he's so demure and mindful. And whatever. Don't let what Jeremy says about himself get you too down. He's got people who care about him and make sure he's okay, like me. Don't listen to Shiloh. It's nice you're looking out for someone else, Shiloh. I don't really care if Jeremy's sad or not. I'm still not over the fact that the two of you actually know each other. You didn't say anything. She's not sticking up for Shiloh. It was too hard to know how to respond to any of it. You'd rather wait and see at this point. Okay, seriously, how long am I meant to be out of the loop here? Her expression twisted in frustration as Liz rubbed her right temple. I mean, Liz, you already know the story. I punched him in the face at Miranda's birthday party. She would have told you that. She wouldn't have not told you. Well, no, wait, at that age, Liz wouldn't have wanted to talk to us, so she probably wouldn't have cared. Why am I the only one who doesn't know this kid? Shiloh goes to school with him, that's fine, but how did the two of you meet him and I didn't? He was around the town one summer back like 5 years ago. You were there. Liz crossed her arms and stared unconvinced at you. Is that all? Well, Liz seemed a bit underwhelmed. Shiloh appeared to be utterly amazed. You had to hold back a small laugh.
Really?
You all knew Jeremy as a little kid? What was he like? I've only known him for a year and a half. Well, his voice immediately hushed into nothing. You could see Cove wince just thinking about those past encounters. You could already picture the past, Jeremy, in your mind. He was a mean kid. He was horrible. All he did was yell and say people were dumb. He was kind of pathetic. I don't even know how to explain it. You didn't attempt to answer. Oh, how horrible! He was kind of pathetic. You shrugged and glanced at Cove. He still slowly nodded. It didn't matter what happened. He was mad about everything. Jeremy's expression didn't give away a single sign of what might have been thinking. He continued to blandly stare at you both until he finally spoke.
Yep. Sounds like me.
At that confirmation, Shiloh burst into uncontrollable laughter. Even when he calmed moments later, grasping for breath, there was still a wide-eyed grin plastered in his face. I can't imagine Jeremy being like that. I can't imagine him not being like that. They both chuckled again. Cove's mouth pulled into a bent smile. I mean, Jeremy hasn't made fun of my eyebrows once this whole conversation. Unbelievable.
Huh.
Jeremy blinked and focused all of his attention onto Cove. His eyes unmistakably narrowed in on the eyebrows. He didn't say anything at first, and his words came out in a minute. Mumble. That makes sense. I guess insulting eyebrows was just what I did as a kid. What does that mean? What do you think it means? You weren't the only kid in the world with bad eyebrows, and you're not the only one I picked on for it.
Seriously?
I wasn't? You couldn't help yourself, could you? Find out more in XOXO Droplets, the game these people made. Nope. Wow, so that made their eyebrows... What made their eyebrows bad? Are you curious if yours are better? By terrible eyebrow standards, at least. Kind of, yeah.
Sigh.
I love that he says it out loud. Incredulously, Cove looked from Jeremy to you, and then back to him again. You had to question if you heard that right. He spoke the word sigh instead of actually sighing. I like older Jeremy. He's definitely a mood. Noticing the reaction, Jeremy sighed for real, but he continued on to answer Cove's question. I mean, I'm not this depressed, but I can understand this kid. The guy has particularly odd hair coloring, white hair, but only on the top of his head. Because he's a character in a video game, ladies and gentlemen. Every other strand on his body is dark brown, including his immensely bushy eyebrows. He was born that way. It's not dyed. So you were the scarred boy with the dumb, wavy eyebrows, and he was the white-haired boy with the stupid caterpillar eyebrows. Ow. Unexpectedly, a loud gasp came from Shiloh at that description. No, you picked on Pran for his eyebrows? I did. I'm sure you find that hilarious. No, that's not very funny. So he said, but Shiloh was smothering laughter. The unconvinced note in Jeremy's voice didn't surprise you. Okay, wait, give me a second. Let me just... Jeremy rolled his eyes in the slowest, most exaggerated way possible. When he made a complete circle, he spoke flatly while Shiloh broke into a fit of giggles. There. Who's Pran? Shiloh knows him too.
Well...
Jeremy and Pran have known each other a long time. They managed to go to the same boarding school later on. I met them both there in the spring of last year. We're all group mates. In XOXO Droplets. Buy it in the Steam store or something. Or I'll probably play it in the Steam store because it's probably free. Jeremy's gaze slid away from Shiloh. He looked somewhere between you and Cove. Pran and I met about 4.5 years ago, back when I was still an intolerable brat and Pran was meek. You can only imagine how amazing that combination was. Yeah, it must make those group meetings awkward. No, somehow, some way, for some reason, Pran chose to stubbornly stick with me for as long as I've known each other. He's my best friend. What? That's surprising, I know. I have a best friend, and it's the caterpillar brow guy of all people. But I guess things balanced out in the end. Pran's timid nature is good and dead. He grew up to be colder than even me. I'm mopey and he's broody. A perfect match. 2 peas and a ruining everyone else's life pod.
Gross.
Don't quote Everett. Who's Rachel? Cove whined after Jeremy snapped his last remark. Now who's Everett? Yeah, it's like the James Sunderland line. You don't want to know. Yeah, you don't want to know. Shiloh hummed and he watched his 3 old friends with an amused smile. He was having fun. Before you could say anything, Jeremy continued. Everett is also part of the group, unfortunately. But he chose not to elaborate further than that. Liz sighed this time. You could feel her frustration. You couldn't blame her for that. She hadn't been able to participate much at all. Yeah, imagine! You call some random stranger that you don't know and you're gonna... The whole conversation's not about you. She didn't know Jeremy then, so there was no basis for reminiscing now, and there was a 10-year gap in her history with Shiloh. The whole situation struck an odd chord with you. 2 boys that you knew separately came to know each other, and now they know each other much better than you know any of you. Shiloh was almost a stranger. Yup. You shrugged the feeling off. You didn't know how to feel. You were on the same page as Liz. You felt down. You were glad things seemed to be going all right and right. You felt annoyed by how things unfolded. Yes! This! You frowned. It was also weird and way too much for one day. Turning to the 3 of you, Shiloh smiled apologetically. You wondered if he's picking up on how in the dark you and Liz and Cove were feeling. He was perceptive when he wanted to be. At least that's what you remembered of Shiloh. Who knew what he was like now? Hey, is there anything you want to hear about Jeremy? I can tell you all about him. We should get to know each other better. It'll be okay. Wow, that's his noise, but it's Shiloh talking. That's interesting. Jeremy whined, but Shiloh brushed his complaints off. Saga is playing Streets of Rage 4. He remained happily focused on the rest of you, and Liz seemed to perk up with the conversation shift. That sounds great. We should get to know Jeremy. So who wants to go first? Despite being eager, it was obvious that Liz didn't have any ideas herself. Jeremy let out a very long sigh. Yeah, so there's this. Guess what? This is the part I said that was going to make the moment really short than the last one. Because Marina does not give a shit. She does not want to get to know Jeremy. She doesn't care. What's his birthday? What's his full name? Can I get his number? What are his parents like? Does he have any siblings? Does he have any hobbies? Is he doing well in school? How tall is he? What happened to his bowl cut glasses? What did happen to the apartment park? Is he single, ladies? I don't have any questions. I don't have any questions. We don't care. We do not care. She does not want to get to know this person. She never liked him then. She doesn't care now, and she's mad at Shiloh and Liz for making her go through all this. Alright then. Cove, do you have any questions for Jeremy? Stunned, it took Cove a moment to recover from being put on the spot. But ultimately, his eyes shifted from Shiloh's and locked with Jeremy's. They remained like that long enough, and it was as if they could speak telepathically. It's so you as a player can get to know this character and learn more about XOXO Droplets. Alright, yeah, I have a question, but Shiloh can't answer. Fine, ask me. Let's get it over with. What do you think of me? Even if you don't think I'm tough or something, do you still feel like I'm stupid and wrong about everything? A crack formed in Jeremy's slackadaisical expression. His eyes barely opened and lifted. His barely open eyes lifted a little more, but he still spoke flatly. My opinion on stuff is basically the least important thing you could ever worry about. It's pointless. Well, I'm still asking, so... Cove, right? That's your name? Cove nodded. There was a tint of pink in his cheeks, but he bashfully rubbed his arm.
Okay.
Cove, you seem like a guy who cares a lot about a lot of things that don't matter. That sounds pretty dumb to me. I outgrew that years ago. And being as soft as you act, it isn't something that I would ever do, basically. But you know what the absolute dumbest thing really is? Cove shook his head with creased brows. Then he leaned forward just a bit so he couldn't risk not hearing what revelation Jeremy was going to bestow on him. Making yourself miserable if you don't have to be. Oh. If you and the rest of the people here have a way to enjoy existence, then you should go ahead and do that. Stay gentle and happy, dumb eyebrow guy. I do like this statement. Despite all of his rage, he's still just a rat in a cage.
You have my approval, if that's what you wanted.
I hope you all have wonderful lives and suffer as little as possible. That's a great line to leave off on, to tell people. I hope you have wonderful lives and suffer as little as possible. Jeremy won't be returning my playthrough. Wow. Because you can. You can try to have a friendship with this man's, and Marina doesn't want that. The words tumbled out softly. Cove was earnestly amazed by Jeremy's words.
Thank you.
And you know what's not gonna make you stay happy? What? Talking to a downer like me. So really, you should end this conversation right now, and none of you should ever call me again for the rest of our lives. Beginnings and always. That sound cool? Can I hang up already? Oh wait, Jeremy, I can't never call you again? Shut up, Shiloh. Unfazed, Shiloh laughed at the tilt of his head. Building something good up only to try undercutting it. That's the Jeremy I know.
Sorry.
That smile. The words dripped with sarcasm, and he was accompanied by a smirk. It was the first time you saw him smile this entire time. Cove piped up meekly, an awkward smile of his own face. Maybe my opinion is totally skewed because I'm comparing things now to how Jeremy used to be, but I mean, you don't seem that bad. What? Cove needed to look away from Jeremy's painfully sharp eyes to finish his thought.
I mean...
I'd probably be okay with talking to you again. Sigh, come on, you can have standards. I want to keep talking to Jeremy too. Yeah, Cove, he's pretty cute. I'm fine with ending the call now. I don't think he's that bad. You had no comment. I'd be fine with ending this call now. At least one person is making sense. He smirked at that. Liz clapped her hands together. It's a start. It's good enough.
Good.
Now that we're so much closer to this Jeremy kid, I think we can all get along together and be friends. Friends. Jeremy repeated the word back like it was a foreign phrase. He genuinely didn't seem to understand. That's right. If we keep working on it, I don't see why the five of us can't be friends. No! You don't get it! He doesn't want that! Marina doesn't want that! Oh, with him or Shiloh! You stupid meddlesome hen! Ah! He stared at Liz incredulously for several moments, her expression twisted into fresh confusion of her own. Okay, 3 things. First, I already have one whole friend, and that's more than enough. Second, I still don't know who you are. Did you even say your name at any point? And most importantly, third, one of the people in this friendship is Shiloh Fields. He and I aren't going to be friends. Why not? And I'm Liz, by the way. Because he's Shiloh. Our relationship is always as good as it's ever going to be. He mercifully leaves me be most of the time, and on the weird occasion when he needs something, I just get it over with. Then he goes away again, and I have a modicum of peace. You know how it works, right? You're in it with me. We have the best arrangement possible with the way it is. Jeremy looked at Shiloh seriously to back up the validity of their relationship, but Shiloh shook his head with a laugh. I don't try to hang around too much, but that's because you're shy. You're the only one who thinks that setup is actually a good idea. Sorry. Jeremy turned his face to the side and let out another exaggerated sigh. Cove and Liz both joined in on Shiloh's mirth. Jeremy got no support.
Sigh.
Of course you'd say that. Why did I even bother? That's Shiloh's famous memory for you. Liz chuckling stopped. Here we go! This is the meat and potatoes! Wait, what does that mean? Shiloh's famous memory. What? Whatever. Basically, Shiloh knowingly remembers everything that happens for all of eternity. At least until some piece of info he has isn't helpful anymore, or he's got explaining to do. Then, magically, all of a sudden, he doesn't know anything about it. His boldly inconsistent recollection of situations is pretty much a running joke. It's Shiloh's shtick. One of them, anyway. Play XOXO Droplets if you want to learn more about Shiloh's shtick. A skull dug into Liz's face as Jeremy spoke. Cove lost his smile, seeing her reaction. Shiloh remained silent with his big childlike eyes locked on your sister. And you know what that means, right? In the Step 1 prologue, when he pretended not to know us, he was lying. He wasn't lying about it being a big hurry and everything and stuff. He knew exactly who we were, but it wasn't convenient for him, so he lied. Welcome to Shiloh Fields, ladies and gentlemen. It's the closest thing there is to a villain in this story, I think. Or at least an antagonist. Jeremy began to shrink away from the screen at the changing atmosphere. He broke eye contact with everyone. I'm guessing he didn't mention that.
No.
He didn't. And he said he forgot something to you. I do recall him saying a little thing like that. Sorry. But well, apparently you had the pleasure of meeting Nate. You know me, and I talked a bit about Pran and, Everett too. Morgan Everett, check out my Deus Ex playthrough. I'm sending you to meet an old acquaintance of mine. He's the leader of the Illuminati. We're all in an unbearable group, and we're all unbearable people. What an amazing coincidence, huh? What we're about is kind of hard to hide. Go play XOXO Droplets to find out. I'm gonna go now. I don't want to be the fifth wheel to your own little group. You three people have a good day, I guess. So I'm guessing he doesn't mean Shiloh in that. I'd almost think he wasn't including Marina since she hates him and has made that pretty clear, but I think he means Shiloh. And Shiloh, I'll see you back in school. Okay, yeah.
Bye.
Jeremy promptly ended the call just as people had begun to warm up to him. No! Well, maybe they did. He accidentally found a new way to ice the mood again. Yeah, maybe they did, but Marina never warmed up to him. Shiloh, now averting his own gaze, put his phone away and chuckled.
So...
I knew that Jeremy didn't think highly of me, but it's even worse than I thought. That's really sad. Shiloh. Her firm tone immediately brought Shiloh's focus back to her. Once she got his attention, however, Liz's voice became small. When we first met you in the city, did you know who we were? Did you pretend not to recognize us? The two old friends watched each other for a beat, but ultimately Shiloh closed his eyes with a lopsided smile. Ah, Lizzie, you gotta know I could never really forget you. Liz was speechless, but it wasn't quiet. Cove couldn't stop himself from shouting out. Oh my god, you were lying to them. Lying is a strong word. I was improvising. That was cruel, Shiloh. Yep, that makes more sense than anything. That makes way more sense than you not figuring it out. You didn't really mind, but were instead concerned about why you felt that was the best option. You're such an asshole. Yup, here we go! You smirked and thought Shiloh was pretty bold. You didn't have any idea what to say to that. Here we go! Finally, Marina's gonna speak up, and it's gonna be, you're such an asshole. All eyes landed on you, but you were focused on Shiloh. You couldn't get a read on what he was thinking. At most, his mouth twitched. Yeah, try to people please this bitch. Go home, Shiloh. Or go to my house and wait there until we can send you home.
Alright.
With his shoulders dipped and head low, Shiloh obediently left the park alone.
Alright.
I almost feel like this is probably even better. Just because she looks upset. Shiloh's dumb little smirk like he did nothing wrong. After he disappeared up the road, Liz sat her butt right down to the sand with no concern for how dirty your dress might get this time. You went after Shiloh to confront him. You went after Shiloh just to talk to him. You crouched down with your sister. Yeah, screw that guy. We can go. We're done. This is where Marina's gonna be there for her sister no matter what. Even if she put you in this terrible situation and we'd rather go confront Shiloh some more. Like, Cove shared an unsure look with you. She wants to punch Shiloh in the face too. She wanted to be alone, but this wasn't the time for that. No, it's obvious you need us here with you. Accepting that you were going to be here for this, she let out a groan. At the same time, Liz pulled at the sides of her hat down, gripping it tightly in frustration. I can't believe he pretended he didn't know us. Since when was Shiloh too good to catch up with his acquaintances? It's infuriating. Am I an idiot for thinking we could talk? You wrapped her arms around her, you leaned against her, you took her arm, you watched her cautious. No. Big old hug here. You wheeled closer and pulled your big sister into a hug from the side. You continued to hold on even when she didn't let go of her hat. No, you're not an idiot. He's the idiot. Shiloh lied to us. That's not your fault. You're smart, talented, and amazing. Liz, I'm so sorry. No, you're smart and talented and amazing. Seriously, Shiloh is a tool for not realizing that.
Fine.
I know, I shouldn't care. It doesn't matter if one person doesn't want to be my bestie. He's not the greatest man on earth. I'll be fine. But I brought him all the way here from the other side of that state, and I didn't even know why he did any of this. I don't even know why he did any of this. Liz finally removed her hands from the brim of her hat in order to rub her temples instead. It blows. Cove snorted some serious laughter at unexpected phrasing. She didn't mind it. It's true. You'll always have me. Say the word and I'll force answers out of him. I bet he's just intimidated by successful women. Liz, if we ever see that guy again, I'll hurl him into the ocean. Have so much fun without him. He's no idea what I'm missing out on. I'm here for you, Liz, thick and thin, no matter what. Liz, if we ever see that guy again, I'll hurl him into the ocean. Please don't. You'll go to jail. Fine.
Thank you.
Baby kiddo. She squished you tight and rocked you back and forth in a dramatic hug. You let Cove like squeak. I love you. I love you too. And what is family for? Well, I thought it was for hogging the phone while growing up, but this works. This is our big sister moment. This is, actually, you know how much I was excited about boating, and that turned out to be kind of butts? I was kind of not looking forward to this moment, but this is really, really good. And it's actually making me cry a little bit because the whole time Marina has wanted a relationship with her frickin' sister. Man. And this is the culmination of that. Even if she is insufferable sometimes. She released you with a shaky, self-impressed laugh. Oh, and thank you, Tuco, for being around. We're practically family ourselves, right? She shot him a wry smile and he chuckled bashfully. Yeah, no problem. Good. Liz rested her eyes after those last couple of words. It eased your heart to see her feel better. Cove let out a soft sigh of relief. Hey. Cove then brought his face close to yours so he could speak in a whisper.
Are you okay?
I know Liz was his best friend, but you knew him too, and you were there when he did his whole pretend improvisation act. Don't worry about me. I'm okay. I'm sad. I'm furious. I don't know how I feel. You didn't say anything. Oh boy. I mean, we're more mad on Liz's behalf. I think she would say, don't worry about me. She is mad, but she probably would deflect this.
No way.
You know that's impossible. I know, thanks for asking. You're welcome. Cove ended his checkup by reaching over to pat your shoulder on the shoulder reassuringly. Yeah, I think Marina just deflects everything, right? She doesn't want to involve herself in people's stuff. Your longtime neighborhood group sat together quietly in the sand, just enjoying the feeling of familiarity and support. You weren't entirely sure how much time had passed, but you were eventually caught off guard by a soft call in the distance. Yeah, this... In unison, the three of you turned your heads to the sound, and there, standing at the edge of the playground, was Shiloh himself. He waved. You moved in front of Liz protectively. You huddled close to Liz nervously. You huddled close to Cove nervously. You flipped him off. You froze in place. You simply waited there. I think she would have calmed down enough to not do this by now. You moved in front of Liz protectively. You didn't want him to hurt your sister again. Why would he think it was okay to come back here after everything? You get a lot of nerve, Shiloh. It's a good thing your name is Fields, because I'm going to put you in the ground. No one wants you here. Do you have something to say? I will punch you in the face just like I shocked Jeremy. He didn't... Yes, this. That's exactly what she's thinking. He didn't speak. You meant every word of that threat. What's that? I couldn't hear you from over here. But don't get up on my account. I'll come to you. Yep, there's his... He heard every word. No. You knew he heard what you said. Shiloh approached with easy strides, as if he'd been welcomed. You were floored with how much confidence or shamelessness this boy was capable of now. Liz turned her face and refused to acknowledge what was happening. She might have been trying to think happy thoughts and wish Shiloh's presence away. Unfortunately, it didn't work. When Shiloh arrived, he plopped down on the sand with the rest of you, his legs full of crisscross applesauce.
Hi.
You motherfucker. I don't remember this happening this way in Sorrow's game. I think everybody calmed down and went and saw him. He just has the balls to come back here. Leave before I make you leave. Seriously, get lost. I will. In just a minute. What do you want now? Well, I figured you'd want to talk to me after you had some space. I ought to let you do that, even if you're going to yell at me. Yeah, I don't like Baxter, but I downright despise this character. And I know why he's here. XOXO Droplets is a great game, guys. Go check it out. I'll stop with that now. Liz finally faced him to be free to snap at Shiloh with full force. And why in the world did you think that? In phase, Shiloh looked back to her softly. You haven't changed that much, Lizzie. You're the one who found me online, and when I brushed you off earlier this summer, when have you ever preferred leaving something unresolved in the end? I mean, he reads her really well, and she kind of deserves this too, but man, read the fucking room. You didn't get a chance to make me explain why I did it. I bet you're dying to do that. Liz ground her teeth, quietly fuming. Shiloh had called it right, and that sucked for her. Fine, I'll bite. Give me your excuses.
Well...
Mostly, it was really bad timing. I could have handled it a lot better if I'd known I was going to see you that day, and there wasn't a self-appointed hall monitor dutifully watching my every move people made. And a hi, good to see you, gotta go was simply too much for your little heart to manage. Of course, the goal was to keep as much distance as possible, admitting I was the guy you knew wouldn't have been helpful. And you can't stand us, and me trying to reconnect was a huge pain for you after all. Amazing, wonderful, thank you so much for saying so. No, that's not it. Don't feel bad, though. You're almost never wrong. Your older sister's brows twitched as she stared at Shiloh in entire disbelief. He smiled back at her brightly. I did it so this wouldn't happen. What? I dealt with the situation the way I always do, by saying stuff I didn't exactly mean because it's easier that way. You heard Jeremy. It's what I'm known for. Yeah, so he just wanted to avoid having to tell the truth about himself to people. Basically. Sure, right now you're mad that I pretended not to remember you, but if I hadn't done that, it would have been something else later on, and we'd have ended up here still. Liz's anger became more and more difficult for her to maintain. It was soon replaced with sad confusion. I don't like this explanation. I don't like this character. I don't like that he's so nonchalant about, oh yeah, by the way, I'm a scumbag. Deal with it. Then don't do that. Don't be like that. Why not be someone you're actually okay showing me? Exactly. Exactly. This all feels like... I get it that this character is supposed to have, like, some kind of issues that he can't help the way he is, but this all feels very much like a calculated, conscious choice that he's making to behave this way. Shiloh chuckled uncomfortably and searched for a way to explain himself to his former idol. I wouldn't have made you sad if I could have avoided it. I meant that. I thought I could at least finish this visit without issues. Jeremy wasn't someone I expected to call me out. That's pointless to him usually. But I'm not going to be someone whose personality revolves around making you happy. No matter how much I follow others, it wasn't for them. Every decision was mine. I couldn't be in charge, so being a sidekick was the best option for something I did for my sake. Best option was something I did for my sake. Yeah. He's selfish. Everything he has ever done has been for himself, and not for us. I chose to let people be the boss when it was what I needed, and I chose where to stop it. And the best I can do for you now is spare you from dealing with it. I'm not as earnest as you are. I'm not as nice as you are. I was always like that, even as a kid. And Marina saw through this bullshit the whole time. Back then, I wanted to fit in, even if it meant excluding someone else. If they were the odd one out, that mean I wasn't. Yup, and you treated me like that. Finding my place here got harder when Cove moved in. It was a good thing for everybody that I ended up moving myself soon after that. Yeah, you could hang out with Lizzie and exclude me, and then when Cove got here, I had a friend, so what were you going to do? You were speechless. That's horrible. I knew it. I was sure you weren't being honest back then. You felt bad from hearing that. Yeah, this. At least I'm admitting it now. I knew that's essentially how you were back then. You were a scaredy cat who wanted someone to defend you.
Jeez.
I simply imagine that in the past 10 years you grew out of that and learned how to speak to others like, I don't know, an actual grown-up human being? Well, in my defense, I'm not an adult yet. I won't be 18 until later this year in October. October 30th. Oh, geez, really? You have to be one day before Halloween, you scumbag? Now I'm going to remember that date, too. Thanks for that. You remembered. So did you, punk. Shiloh chuckled self-consciously as Liz smirked at him. There was an affable moment before she became serious again. I liked when we were kids. I wanted to know you now. That's what upset me the most, the idea that maybe you only wanted to be rid of your old friends.
Aw.
Lizzie, you're too good to need someone like me in your life. That's the truth. I'm not worth the effort. Yeah, actually I agree with you. Fully. Except with the usual people who have odd taste. Then she straightened up in the sand, brushing her dress back out. That's an incredibly annoying thing to say. It's insane. You've only changed in stupid ways and stayed the same for the rest. That's fair. Is it? I mean, maybe I have unusual taste. You could have stuffed Shiloh's entire hat into his mouth with how wide he opened it. Really? Well, as much as mother hen being compelled to look up to their chick, no matter how useless they are, is Well, as much as a mother hen being compelled to look out for the chick, no matter how useless they are, is unusual, I can't help it. Yeah, of course this has to have a happy ending because it's the game it is. I was kind of hoping I'd get the bad ending to this moment where everybody stays pissed at Shiloh, but no. Lizzie has to be nice, and it's going to have this nice little wrapped up, put a bow on it ending. You haven't changed that much after all either. You're still Shiloh. You're still painfully still Shiloh.
You're welcome.
I brought you here and I'm not going to abandon you. It has to be someone's job to look out for and keep an eye on you. With her scrutiny returning, she pulled herself up off the ground and glowered down at Shiloh with her arms folded. Yeah, somebody has to make sure he doesn't get away with this bullshit. Now, I do want an apology for everything done behind our backs when you could have opened up with all that you just said. You should have given us a real chance to stay home. That stunt was rude. To me, Marina, and Cove, too. As if bringing the baby chick comparison to life, Shiloh dutifully did as he was told.
Sorry.
Lizzie, Marina, Cove, everyone, I didn't want to cause problems or ruin the day. You don't have to accept just because I'm saying it. Not everybody needs to like everyone. Alright then, you were kind of mean sometimes when we were kids, but it wasn't very nice. I wasn't very nice to you either. Yeah, Cove, you were a handful too. All this recent stuff isn't really something to make about me, so I'm not going to hold on to it. I mean, as long as you're not going to keep upsetting people from now on. Thanks, Cove. I'll avoid doing that in the future. He then changed his focus to you. His expression was curious. He wanted to know what your feelings landed on him. You were pretending to have a good time with us today? I'll accept your apology. I'm not forgiving you. Don't even think about it. You couldn't give him a straight answer. You should forgive him. That's crazy. He gave him a faint smile, feeling sort of relieved. So she's not going to say this, because that's kind of rude, but I'm not forgiving you. Don't even think about it. It was ridiculous that your sister was benevolent enough to give him another chance. As you pulled yourself to your feet, your thoughts whirled about inside your head. I don't want to be part of this, but I can't leave Liz alone with him. You were done. You didn't want to spend any more time with Shiloh. Yeah, this. I don't want to be a part of this, but I do. This is going to artificially extend the moment because she doesn't. She's going to be defensive of her sister no matter what. Even though I want to pick this, and it's going to make this moment a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be. This could almost have been 3 parts. I knew this was going to be long because of the whole Jeremy conversation, and then there's this whole conversation with the end here with Shiloh. You didn't think he was capable of doing anything terrible, Liz, if you walked away with it. No, but you weren't happy with how willing he was to trick people. Shiloh jumped to his feet, straightening his cap on the landing. I like how you can choose to be completely non-accepting of him, though. I do appreciate that. It lets you do that. Lynn would be so proud. You all didn't leave. You didn't all leave. Cove rose as well, but with a groan. Another group mate?
Nope.
He's our group supervisor. He's also friends with my mom. And if you're still wondering, that group is for people who have difficult to deal with attitudes. Jeremy and Nate being in it makes a lot of sense, huh? Shiloh spoke simply and finished his thought with a breezy shrug. Liz sighed loudly, and then she smiled ruefully at him. But you obviously don't want to improve, and I think they do. Or at least Jeremy does. Geez, Shiloh, you've certainly made yourself other people's problems since leaving. Well, now you all know me better too. Thanks for sharing. A small smirk appeared on her face as she watched Shiloh. He didn't fail to notice the hint of sarcasm in her voice. And thank you, Marina. Accompanied by a warm smile, Liz's tone was sincere. I can keep hanging out with everyone too. Sheepish, Cove rubbed his arm. Liz's smile stretched out into a grin at that news. Thanks for sticking around. Well then, what now? The 4 of you stared at each other in silence until Shiloh tentatively made a suggestion. Would anyone want to build a sandcastle? That sounds ideal. Your older sister began to truly relax again, and you were glad to see it. Glancing at Cove, he nodded in agreement with Liz. It's been a while since any of us did that together, huh? Let's do it. No, Marina would not be at the point where she's willing to talk and hang out with this man. I'm almost tempted to go back to the I'm not screwing around with this and see what that gets me. Because Liz is a big girl, she can take care of herself, right? Like, this is not a, like, let's have fun and hang out with Shiloh. This is a, I'm here to watch, keep an eye on you. Whatever. Then we're all agreed. Come on, gang, let's go play at the beach. The sun was far across the sky when the 4 of you trailed down from the park to the shore in comfortable silence. It was hard not to think back on how familiar it all felt. You never thought the 4 of you would ever be here together again. It's acting like everything's all good now, and it's not. We're not here because we like Shiloh. We're here because we were supporting our sister. It wasn't long before you were sitting on the wet ground, busily pushing as much sand as possible into a lump. You all worked together quietly, but ever so often a chuckle would drift through because of the castle's lopsided development. At one point, Cove stretched his legs out completely, and the incoming waves started reaching his toes. He initially caught off guard and almost jumped into the castle, but ultimately didn't resist the water. After that, the group worked with purpose to finish before the ocean could tear it all down, even though Liz still ended up taking time to be particularly about the castle's rudimentary design. Because she's an architect, after all. Shiloh, of course, backed up all her plans. Cove was a dissenting voice and wanted to keep things more laid back. Things got pretty boisterous. Being there and doing this with Cove, Liz, and Shiloh felt weirdly different, yet also weirdly the same. Absent-mindedly, you twisted your fingers in the sand and thought about everything Shiloh said today. It was still bothering you, but to some degree, it also felt kind of like closure. And not just with Shiloh, but also with Jeremy, of all people, the old villain of that one summer from long ago. Just like old times, the 4 of you stayed on the beach until night fell and the moon was high in the sky. Then the time had come to say goodbye. Shiloh needed to get back to his mom and back to where his life truly was now. The 4 of you walked up the neighborhood street as one, tired smiles covering the familiar faces around you. You never could see where the day was heading when it started, however you appreciated the opportunities it brought to you in the end. After that, Shiloh disappeared from Sunset Bird once again, though. This time it wasn't heartbreaking or hard to understand. This time it was just another part of life. And it helped Liz had her own phone and laptop and could easily check in on him from time to time. That was nice, too. I mean, I guess that's a good enough ending for that. It has to have a nice little bow in it. I'm guessing if we decide not to spend time with Shiloh, she just leaves. I'm probably going to go back myself and see how that is before this ends. But this has been long enough, and thank you for hanging in there with me. We do have some more good ones left. Ones I'm looking forward to seeing. So we'll see you next time for something fun.